He went on to say there's no higher priority than retaining our most valued partners because without you, we close shop.
There is a paranoia about the fragility of our accounts, is how we put it. eBay don't care about their sellers. We're just a number. They will replace us with more sellers. There is no higher priority than retaining our most valued partners. That is not coming across.
Jeff kicked off. He just went absolutely mad because he'd seen a dog go past, and Maurizio said, Jeff is also, he's also angry with eBay.
Hello.
Hello.
As promised, this is an update on the conversation we had, or Zoom call rather, we had with eBay's general manager for the UK. His name was Maurizio. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So when we had our recent problems with eBay, there are a couple of videos on the channel if you haven't watched those. Briefly, we had to verify our business details, and eBay withheld our earnings for, was it 2 weeks? And it was
a nightmare, to say the least.
It was a nightmare. It was
very stressful.
Very stressful, yes. After that debacle, Maurizio offered to come on and have a chat with us. We didn't record the call. We did record the audio so we could quote from it.
If you're watching this and you haven't seen the other videos, then at least see the first one, then you'll understand what this is all about. Otherwise, this won't make any sense.
Yes. So we accepted that offer, of course, right? We would love to share our feedback with eBay's general manager. So we did, and we are going to give you some of the highlights of that conversation, some of the things that we said, some of the things that were said back to us, and you can make your own minds up. We are very aware a lot of people will be totally cynical still about the fact that eBay are reaching out to us. That's fine. We are of the mind, we've been given a chance to have a conversation at the highest level within eBay to try and make a difference, to try and make our voice heard, and that of the small business community in general, about how we feel about eBay and its practices and its customer service and how detached we feel, all of those things. You'll see what we said. We think it's worth having the conversations. Even if nothing changes, we have tried. I would rather we had a go. So that's what we did. We had a really interesting conversation, and we're going to share some of that with you.
So we spoke to Maurizio on the Friday, and he wasn't actually properly starting his job until the Monday, was he? So he was thrown right in at the deep end with this.
Imagine that kind of first job as UK general manager, listening to us bang on about the problems within eBay.
Having a good old moan.
But fair play to him, you know, he offered to give us the call, and we accepted gladly.
Yeah. And he did watch the video.
Yes, so quick context, he had seen the video, so he knew what went on with us and our account verification, and the fact that our money was held for 2 weeks. And in direct response to that, he said, watching the video was painful, and it was something that simply shouldn't happen. So that was where we began. We set out that all we wanted really out of this was to help improve eBay.
Yeah, so that this doesn't happen again to us or to anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. We had a long conversation about that. One thing I specifically said regarding our case, I said, is it too much to ask that when a problem is serious enough to stop income, as in to restrict the account, is it too much to ask that a UK-based rep could take hold of the problem and ownership of the problem and act as a liaison and actually help us? Because we kept repeating to him that we didn't feel like we were being helped. We were just passed around people that maybe cared, maybe didn't, and nobody really understood the problem or took ownership of it.
Yeah, I think I pointed out that I thought it was a communication issue in a big way, but that kind of sums it up. It was a communication issue.
Yes, at this point, we asked, do you know why this happened? Why this went out of control? Why people didn't understand the problem? What went wrong in our specific case? And he said there were, and there's a bit of a list, issues with language, the language used, lack of ownership of the problem, which was something I referred to before that, when is it too much to ask that somebody take on a case that's important enough to stop somebody's income? He admitted there was lack of ownership of the problem. We were told incorrect things. Categorically, we were told incorrect things. Yeah. And then process breakdown. It was very obvious to us there was a process breakdown. There is a process apparently to verify your account, and it shouldn't be that complicated, but that broke down.
Yeah.
And he also admitted in our case, there was a lack of training. So when you combine all of those things, that's a lot of issues on, in one account verification. All came together, perfect storm, nightmare.
Yeah. And the lack of training really refers to the fact that we are a partnership, but not a company.
Which we told everybody that would listen.
But the understanding of that just wasn't there.
One thing specifically we said at this point was, we felt during the 2 weeks when our income was switched off, we were still trading on eBay, still working hard with no income. We felt like we were out of control and heading for a possible account closure. That's how we felt, whether it was going to happen or not. That's what we felt like, because we were given a deadline and all of our paperwork that we had, and we have all of our paperwork. We run a legitimate business, always have done. None of the paperwork we had worked. So we were panicking. That's how this procedure manifested itself.
Panicking, frustrated. Yeah, you name it.
Yeah. At this point, he reiterated that caused him pain to watch our panic, our experience, our frustration. So at this point, he explained that it is not only his job, but his personal passion to make eBay better.
Yeah.
Right?
And can I just interject the little backstory, well, not little backstory, but the backstory of Maurizio. He's worked for eBay for about 20 years, was it?
I can't remember the numbers.
Something like that. And mostly in finance, but in parts in customer service, and throughout different departments over the years, he's worked for eBay. He loves eBay, he's passionate about it, and that gives us some reassurance that we're talking to somebody that actually cares. He convinced us wholeheartedly that he really cares passionately about eBay. He's also a seller on eBay. He understands what it's like to be a seller. We chatted at length about that sort of stuff. Yeah.
To just finish what he was saying, he wanted to assert to us that he took our experience and others like it very seriously. The cynics out there will say, well, of course he was going to say that. But yes. He actually thanked us for making the video, which was interesting. He wasn't bitter that we'd shared that and that it's now had 100,000 plus views. He thanked us that it was brought to his attention, right? It went kind of right up the chain to him very rapidly once it had all got out there. And he thanked us for making it. He said that the video exposes the failures of the system.
Then we went on to have a more general conversation about the feeling in the community of eBay small businesses and what we're hearing. We talked about the comments that were on the videos that we made, and just generally how people actually feel about eBay and what people have said.
Yeah, and we pointed out that whilst it's easy for him to say eBay really care about small businesses, which he said to us several times, that is not coming across. That's not translating. I said our experience and others is actually the opposite of what eBay think they feel and what they're maybe showing to us. And I hear it time and time again, and you'll read it in the comments on our videos about our experience. that eBay don't care about their sellers. We're just a number. They will replace us with more sellers. Those things are said all over the internet so regularly, and it's becoming more and more and more. And we tried to point this out.
Yeah.
So between what Maurizio and we were saying, there was a complete disconnect. This is how eBay feels about their sellers. This is our experience as sellers. And we talked about that at length. And that, I think, was maybe eye-opening. I don't know. But there was definitely a difference of opinion about how eBay felt and how sellers feel.
Yeah, he did point out that, basically without us, there's no eBay, and that they have no reason whatsoever to, want to throw people off the platform willy-nilly, So that's not their agenda. That's not what they want.
But the way he put it was, you, as in us, the sellers at large, pay his salary.
Yeah.
And he understands that without sellers, there is no platform, there is no eBay.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we stress to him, that's not being communicated. We feel very alone, very isolated as sellers. There's a complete disconnect nowadays. And it didn't used to be like that. And we discussed this. In the early days, it felt much more that we were part of eBay and we were respected, and that somehow has been lost in translation completely.
Just as the company's got bigger, I suppose, really.
Yeah. So I've made some more notes here. We stressed that people share how their customer service issues, like ours, and heavy-handed policies are driving people away. People are actively moving to Etsy, Vinted and others, and we listed the things that we hear on a regular basis. Whatnot coming up. People are trying to find alternatives because they kind of live in fear on eBay, and that's no way to run a business. And this is how we put it across. And we said that we feel that eBay doesn't understand that. Maybe that's what we were trying to hammer home. That people are actively seeking other selling platforms because of eBay anxiety, which is, I think, is a phrase Shelley came up with.
Yeah.
But it sums it up well, which is the fear of being switched off, right? Having your account closed or restricted for things out of your control. And that's how we felt. A couple of interesting quotes from Maurizio at this point are, he said, if Sky TV goes offline, you don't watch a movie that night. It's no big deal. If your eBay account is gone, you can't put food on the table. It's a different ballgame. And he understood how important it is to small businesses, to any seller, if I'm honest. But when you're relying on it for your income, it's not a case of, oh no, we can't watch the telly tonight. It's serious and it's incredibly stressful. He also said, and I quote, "We take examples like yours and use them to improve eBay. Is the pace of improvement good enough? No."
We were sort of transcribing this, and then we put that at this point that Jeff kicked off. He just went absolutely mad because he'd seen a dog go past, and Maurizio said, Jeff is also, he's also angry with eBay.
Maybe he was. Maybe Jeff was having his say at that point, but there was a few minutes where Jeff was just going. I ended up sitting here with Jeff on the Zoom call to try and calm him down, which was...
It lightened the mood for the
minute. It lightened the mood, yes. It got quite serious for a while and that lightened it up. He also, at this point, committed to come back to us, to report back. They were going to share our conversation, which was being recorded within several departments within eBay that have the power to make changes and improvements. And he's going to come back. We've had emails since. There was an ongoing conversation, and he promised to continue that, to continue the dialogue. We talked a lot about the comments on the video and other people's experience and the feeling within the community. And I tried very hard to impress on him how we don't think eBay understands how negative the opinion of people has become about eBay. And I think it's in recent times, maybe the last 5 years, it's kind of accelerated. Particularly in the small business community, which is where we are particularly active. There is a paranoia about the fragility of our accounts, is how we put it. we said eBay needs to look at its relationship with its small business sellers. We feel marginalised, out on our own, and like we're just getting told off. That's the relationship, like schoolmaster and pupil. And if you do and if all of a sudden you've done something wrong, you're expelled. That's the kind of relationship we were getting across. And I don't know if they appreciate that. We don't feel part of eBay. We don't feel respected or appreciated. People now feel more and more isolated and paranoid. Just to give you a flavour of what we were trying to get across, which is our experience from what people tell us on a daily basis.
Yeah. So in response to that, Maurizio said, "It pains me so much. I can tell you that small businesses are one of our top priorities. It matters to me professionally and personally," which goes back to his history with eBay, "and we want to improve."
So it's all positive, right? But hopefully, I mean, words are just words. We all want to see change and action, but yeah, it was encouraging at this point.
It was. And then he went on to say, "There's no higher priority than retaining our most valued partners, because without you, we close shop."
Yeah, and by valued partners, it's the sellers.
Yeah.
Us, other businesses, individual sellers. There is no higher priority than retaining our most valued partners. That is not coming across. That is not how we feel. We don't feel valued.
And I suppose because the communication is, on a level, the only communication that we get is with customer service, I suppose. So that's why improving customer service is really a very important thing for them to do.
Oh, 100%.
Because that's giving us the feeling of eBay,
Well, that's let's be honest, we don't really communicate with eBay that often. They want us to run our own businesses hassle-free and do our thing, and they provide the platform and it's all smooth. So when we go to them with an issue, that's our communication face to face. And when you have an experience as we did, and as many other people did, unfortunately, it's not unusual. That's the relationship. That's where the relationship is formed, when you're speaking to somebody from eBay. Yeah. And although they might say, "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Hills, you've been with us 21 years. Isn't that fantastic?"
22.
Beyond that, we didn't feel like we were, what's the word? Valued again. So as we got to the end of the conversation, which was, I don't know, was it like an hour or so we chatted? It was a lengthy one. Yeah. I just want to share with you what Maurizio said he took away from the communication we had from our chat. And I quote, "We see it in the numbers, but hearing it from a human being is different." He was referring to people leaving the platform at that point. He also said, "There are people actively leaving the platform." This is what he took away from what we said. That there are people actively leaving the platform because they are afraid of what can happen to their account and they don't feel in control. And that is the problem. So we got that message across, and hopefully, because he's passionate about improving eBay and because he has influence, huge influence within eBay, he can hopefully start to put things in place. This is a massive corporation. Things don't happen overnight. We're not naive. But yes, that's kind of it. That's our little summary of the hour-long chat we had with Maurizio. If you're watching this, by the way, thank you for offering to come on. We did, and we said, didn't we, in the chat, that we felt positive about it afterwards.
Yeah, we did.
And yeah, we thank you for coming on and chatting with us. We're going to continue that dialogue, which is also encouraging. Yeah. And hopefully we can do something in some small way to improve the platform that, despite everything, and we said this to Maurizio, despite everything, we still think eBay is the best place for our business and we love doing business on eBay. Yes. But it needs to improve. Really, really does. So there we go. Did you have anything else to say?
I don't think so. I think we summed it up.
Yeah. Sorry this video took way too long to come out. As always, we have so much going on, and just sitting down, listening to the audio, making notes, so it was a condensed video, not an hour-long ramble. Took time to sit down. Now I've got to edit it and get it up. Anyway, please leave your comments below. Let us know what you think, whether you're a complete cynic, fine. Air your views, go for it. As I said, I would rather use this opportunity to have a conversation and try and get how it feels to be an eBay seller across than not say anything.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We will link the video we're talking about here, all about what happened to us for the 2 weeks. If you haven't seen it, check it out, have a look. Till next time, ta-ra.